welcome to Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Rileigh Smurl.
I'm Sydnee McElroy.
And I'm Teylor Smurl.
Sisters, this is really weird.
I know, we're all in the same room together. I don't know how I feel about this.
I can see all your face, like all of them, all two of them.
We have all of Teylor, not just like her head and then the bust of Abraham Lincoln floating behind her.
Which is gone. I just noticed it's not here anymore.
It was used on the set of a very soon-to-be very popular television show. Ooh. So, yeah, we're all in the same room. We're all in the same place.
First time ever. I mean, not first time ever. First time recording
We've
that
never
way.
been in the same room together in all of our lives.
Our parents carefully orchestrated that their children would never all be in the same room. Then we might plot
This is the first time
against
I've
them.
ever been in the same room with Sydnee in real life.
Then we may seek to overthrow them. Is that what Game of Thrones is about?
About us?
Separating your children into different bedrooms so they won't overthrow you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I assumed that's what it was about. I don't know. I'll choose to continue not to watch it and believe that. We've been able to spend the last few days together in celebration of candle nights.
Merry Candle Nights, everybody.
Yes.
In a couple months, right?
Close it up. You know, candle nights can exist anytime, anywhere,
okay.
any place.
In any universe.
There you go. So candle nights happened and it was lovely. And we did record a live episode. That will probably be a bonus episode.
Yeah.
Because it's more of a visual feast.
Highly visual
It was very
episode.
visual, and we also forgot to press the record button until like 5 minutes in.
That was a backup of a backup.
Oh.
We got it.
Well,
out
never
there.
mind. We got it all, but it's really hard to listen to.
It's hard without seeing, so I think that might be a bonus, and we'll save that for later. We got to spend a lot of time together though, and there was something that I learned about Rileigh this weekend.
What's that?
Rileigh doesn't like to stay up late.
She's
I
an old
don't.
lady.
I don't like staying up late at all. The latest I will stay up on a weekend when I am by myself and not forced to stay up late is like 1:30.
Okay, that's still pretty late, and
Yeah.
you were whining about being tired at like 11:30.
No.
Yeah.
By the time we got done with the show on Friday night and we're coming back here, it was 1:11. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
that's not right at all.
Because the show wasn't even over until about 11:30, and then we waited around and packed up our stuff. And it was like 12:30, and by the time everyone was packed up and everything, it was 1 o'clock. I promise you, it was 1 o'clock.
None of this is accurate.
It was 1 o'clock.
No.
It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I
Okay.
didn't understand why everyone wanted to stay up any longer.
Well, all I know is that we are grown-ups, and you are not. And we all apparently were able to stay up much later than you.
Okay, well, every weeknight I get 4 hours of sleep, so on the weekends I'm really tired, Sydney.
Okay.
Well, this is a source. I don't know. This is the sore subject here.
What we wanted to talk about was not that Rileigh can't stay up late.
That's what you started by talking about. Why is it not what you wanted to talk
How
about?
not
was
to be a lame old lady who goes to bed super early.
See,
the
that's
episode.
exactly
How
what we're
not
talking
to
about
do
now,
that.
and it is because of you two. It is not because of me.
It was supposed to be a clever segue into what do teenagers do late at
and it
night.
just made me very mad.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm just confused, Rileigh, because to me, as a teenager, staying up late was one of the few freedoms and ultimate freedoms you were afforded.
Exactly.
Like, just staying up, that was an act of rebellion in and of itself.
Yeah, but then if you stay up on school nights and you're grumpy in the morning.
This may just be a personality difference.
I was going to say, but what about when you don't stay up late and you're still grumpy the next day?
Okay, that's not what I meant. What I meant was it was worth
Bye,
it
everybody.
to me.
This has been Still Buffering.
It was worth it to me when I was a teenager, no matter how I felt the next day, because I liked staying up late so much and having like that time that was my time. Like I can do anything I want and nobody can tell me what to do. And I'm
Well-
old enough that like I can hide that I'm still awake. So my parents don't necessarily know how late I stayed up. And as long as I don't complain about it the next day, nobody says anything.
Well, okay, but like, you all, whenever you were at home after school and after your activities, you were not alone. Correct? Like each of you individually, you were not alone when you were like in
No.
high school. Like you
Well-
had each other in the house with you.
Well, I graduated Taylor's freshman year. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were still a teenager before you were like in high school. Like even when
Yeah.
you were like not a teenager, like middle
yes,
school.
I think I never had much time in the house by myself. I think Taylor probably had more than me.
See, I get that alone time just all the time.
course, no, at the same time, then you were born.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
So, so I
by the
moved
time-
out, but then you replaced me, and you know, were a lot noisier, I bet.
I mean, yeah, like I was a baby. Couldn't really help that.
No, but it really did surprise me somewhat, Rileigh, and so that's why I thought we could talk about what we did late at night, because as Taylor said, when we were younger, I remember I had like all kinds of activities that were specifically like my everybody's in bed activities.
Yeah.
What were those activities, guys?
Mainly watching TV, but
That's your everybody's in bed activity? You don't just do that anyways?
no, I didn't watch a lot of TV other than everybody was in bed. And I had, now, Rileigh, I wish I still had this television to show you, because you would be appalled when I think of the television in your room. I had a very small television that only, like, for a long time didn't
I've
have.
definitely seen this TV before.
Have you seen that tiny little TV?
Is it Taylor's the TV you inherited after Sydney had moved out?
I think so. No, mine was white. It was similar, but it was cool because it was like not a regular TV color.
It was white. It was very spacey.
That's
It
how
was
you
very
make
space
things
looking.
cool. Just make them the color they're not supposed to be.
Well, I definitely remember your TV, because by the time you would have been in there watching TV or like with friends with that TV, I would have been old enough to remember.
No.
For a while, I didn't have cable on my TV, which, Rileigh, what that meant is that it got like 4 channels.
I know what cable is, Sydney.
Well, you don't even use that now, really.
No, I don't. I mean, I'd be fine with not having cable now. I used to use Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and Amazon.
Well, there you go. See, back then, what that meant is the only night of the week that was exciting for me was Saturday night, because I could watch Saturday Night Live by myself. It was one of the few shows that I knew were on network TV, and I could watch it. And it was always, I remember we'd come home from the Marshall football games, the college football games we'd go to as a family, and everybody would go to bed, and I would sit up in my room, in my bed by myself, and watch Saturday Night Live and feel very cool.
Well, and there was also like, now there's programming for teenagers and kids like on 24/7. Like you have 24-hour cartoon channels, you know, you've got like cool kids programming late into the night. None of the TV that was late at night was meant for us, so to speak. Like
No. Taylor and I were talking about this earlier. Nickelodeon used to switch to Nick at Night every night. So you'd have kids programming and cartoons and stuff all day long. And then after, I don't know, like 8?
I feel like it was pretty early. Like it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that late. I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock. It would switch to Nick at Night. And then at that point, it was usually just old reruns of like shows that predate any of us.
Oh, yeah.
So like I Love Lucy and Get Smart and Dragnet and the Dick Van Dyke Show and the Mary Tyler Moore Show and all those kinds of programming.
I had a friend in middle school that was obsessed with I Love Lucy, and now that just seems so bizarre.
But that's, I mean, that's what happened though. It's funny because it exposed me to like shows that I never would have, were not part of our generation growing up at all. They were our parents' shows or older.
Yeah,
even.
maybe.
Yeah. And as a result, I had this passionate love for Get Smart. I thought Get Smart was one of the best shows on television. Have you ever even seen Get Smart?
No.
There was a movie made about it recently.
With the one with the guy from The Office?
Yeah.
Was Steve
Carell?
Carell?
Was it Steve Carell?
Maybe.
I've seen previews.
And Anne
for
Hathaway?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I
She
saw
was
previews and
99.
stuff.
Did you see it? Did it stack up to the original?
I did see it. I must not have, because I only have vague memories of its existence. It did. I mean, it's never going to, though, in your head, because I also remember, here's a weird thing for you, Rileigh, because I think this is different. I would just watch whatever episode was on.
No.
So I knew the general time that Get Smart came on, and I would just watch whatever, and they would be played out of sequence, just random episodes from random seasons. And I always thought, like, someday I'll be lucky enough to catch the end of this, because I didn't know how it ended. Now, of course, in my head, I was shipping, Maxwell Smart and Agent 99 pretty hard from the beginning. And I think they do end up together. So in my head, it was like this mysterious show that just popped on at different times, and like I was lucky enough to catch. So I don't know that the movie could capture all that teen mystique for me.
Yeah, I don't like that staying or like watching episodes out of sequence or like not getting to see the end of a season or like see the end of a storyline. Like, what if you had like a 2-parter episode that was like previously on and it was like, wait, I missed all that. No, I don't remember any of this.
I mean, that happened.
Yeah.
Or you'd have one that started and you never saw the first part, or you'd have one that ended. Mm-hmm. And you would just know, I don't know when I'll ever see the next part, or if I will. Well, I mean, especially when we're talking about reruns. I mean, you didn't know, like, you might never see the second half.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that might blow your mind, Rileigh, even having like the TV Guide channel, that was a thing that came about when we were kids. But before that, it's like you either could check out the TV Guide or you just had to figure out what was on by flipping through the channels. Granted, we only had like 35 channels, but
yeah, but you just flipped through. I mean, there was no centralized. I mean, yes, you could buy a TV Guide. We rarely had that.
That's crazy, and I hate it.
But I mean, I think in a way it was kind of neat because I would stay up at late at night, and like I said, I fell in love with shows that I had never seen before. Weren't even like our parents' shows. Like, I watched a lot of Dragnet. I don't think our parents watched a lot of Dragnet. I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched.
I would say I loved I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched. And I really love that scene in The Craft when they're all hanging out watching Bewitched.
Yes,
because that was about the age. That's probably what was on TV.
I fell in love with infomercials as a result of late night television.
Oh, infomercials.
So, Rileigh, do you ever watch infomercials?
No, because I know what you're talking about, like the hour-long commercials, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, those. I mean, that's what they are, right?
Succinctly.
Yes, they are hour-long commercials, and they sell you things.
Yeah, for one specific product.
Exactly.
Because I get confused sometimes whenever, like, sometimes, I'm about to say something really lame. I know you are going to laugh at me for it, but it's okay because I'm going to say it anyways. Sometimes late at night, instead of watching something, like if I finish something on Netflix or like there's nothing on YouTube or anything I want to watch, that's when I do my crafting. So when I'll have my TV on in my background, because I like to leave the TV on while I sleep so it's not completely dark, and I'll look up and it'll be like 3 a.m. and there'll be a commercial on. I'm like, that's weird. I've never seen this commercial before. And then it doesn't stop. I'm just sitting there for 30 minutes watching a commercial about a vacuum. And I'm like, what? This guy already told us why we should buy this vacuum. Why is he back? Why is this commercial so long? What is this?
Can I just, on a side note, before we talk about infomercials, what are you crafting?
Things.
Like what?
Like Pinterest crafts.
Okay. Anything specific? Have you been working on anything?
Spooky season, so spooky crafts.
Or what are you gonna decorate your room with them?
Yeah.
Anything like what? Like banners or
like little ghosties to put up on my bed.
Little ghosties?
Little silhouettes to put in my window. Candle holders to make them look all spooky whenever you put a candle in them.
That's very cute. Are you going to be like the next Martha Stewart? Is that kind of your plan?
I just like crafting. I don't like coming up with the crafts. I just like doing the crafts that other people come up with for me.
This is also sort of an aside, but I thought this was adorable. One of my closest friends was going on the other day about how she's like, I'm so glad it's almost candle season. I was like, what is candle season? What do you mean? She's like, well, like when it's hot outside, it's too hot to light candles because candles put forth heat. But in the wintertime, you can light candles as additional warmth. Candle season.
How hot are your candles?
Yeah. How many are you lighting? Your candles?
And this is the season that we warm our house entirely with candles.
You can detect temperature fluctuations that most humans cannot. Because if you lit a candle in the room right now, I wouldn't be like, oh, warmer.
Like, God, blow out that candle. It's too hot
in here. It's so hot in here. I'm sweating from that candle.
It's always candle season. We have candle nights and candle season,
I mean, I'm always lighting candles all year, every year, all day, every day.
I will say, since we got our extra still buffering candles, I've had a still buffering candle lit most of the time. But infomercials, I fell in love with infomercials at night. They really do their job because a commercial is supposed to hold your attention for, 15, 30 seconds, whatever.
Usually never, because I don't have to deal with commercials now. So
okay. It's not hard to hold your attention that long.
Yeah.
But still, some commercials fail. Infomercials would manage to hold your attention for an hour.
That's the amazing thing is when you look down, you realize I've been watching this commercial for an hour, and it took me an hour to realize it was an hour-long commercial.
I love the one for Tefal cookware. I used to be obsessed with Tefal cookware. This is not an ad for them. I just used to be obsessed with it. I remember after Justin and I first started like talking about getting married and stuff, and me going, well, I know what we're going to register for. I know the cookware because I've seen a lot of infomercials, and they toss a whole thing of oatmeal right out of the pot and then clean it with a feather duster. It's amazing.
Did you ever get any?
No.
No.
They burnt milk in the pan and then just like pulled it out like a piece of rubber, like it was fake.
That's kind of gross.
But I mean, like it cleans that easy. You can clean it with a feather duster.
Do you think you really can?
I don't know. I'll never know.
You know, I've made it clear I was always a very scared kid, so I would always sleep with my TV on just to have, something in the background.
Me too.
And inevitably it would be infomercials late at night. I wonder if there's some sort of subconscious effect because every infomercial is generally based in like human inadequacy, like just the most incapable humans. You need this thing you don't need. I don't know if that's on some like just seeped into my subconscious as I'm sleeping. It's like, I don't know why I can ever put spaghetti in a pot. I can never do it. What is wrong with me? It never works.
Or maybe like every time you go to buy a new car, you look at it and go, but what if I lit it on fire? Would the paint be okay? That's what I need to know. Would you light the hood on fire, please? I need to know if the paint will survive.
This knife looks good, but can it cut a can in half?
Based on, Sydney, what you have told me about your purchases of certain things that I question is when you're up late at night and like you decide to buy things that you see on TV or like you're watching all episodes of Shark Tank is because you've been drinking.
Well,
so like when you ended up getting 3 inflatable Spider-Mans at the side of your house on Christmas.
Justin and I both got inspired simultaneously to buy inflatable Spider-Man, and so we both did. Except then I also ordered another one because I didn't realize I'd ordered the first one because I hit buy now, click one, buy with one click
order.
Yeah, man, that's one click
That's
buying
dangerous.
and an app on your phone. No, kids, said just say no.
But maybe that has something to do with it.
No, I mean, because this dates back to long before I was old enough to imbibe.
Okay, but like there were people drinking at this time. Like you weren't the only one watching infomercials.
Well,
Is that the main like force behind infomercials?
Well, I mean, you gotta
Like,
assume
put them on
that-
at 2 a.m. Like you're probably drunk.
I mean, you
right
gotta
now.
assume
You're gonna
adults
buy
are the
this.
ones making the purchases. Like you're not gonna.
Let me
you
tell
know.
you, yes, I think you're right. Adults are probably buying them. I certainly hope that is not the intended audience for the knife show. Now that's an infomercial I didn't come to till later in my life. But the knife show is just like it's just a show that sells lots of knives.
kind of surreal. Like
So many knives.
I enjoy that sometimes you and Justin will be over and I'll walk out and be like, hey guys, what's going on? Look at the TV knife show. You all like to watch that.
It's because they sell giant, and like it took me a while to figure out. I think they're selling to people who then sell knives in a store, right? Like sometimes it's to a single buyer, but then other times it's like, here's this package of 97 knives that you can buy, and like that's not for one.
You know, there's that one person.
That can't.
I don't know.
For my own peace of mind, that can't be for one person.
You've seen Dexter. You see how many knives and tools he has? That big rollout like mat thing. Probably ordered it from the knife show.
You know, I like that it is such a thing that comes on late night in our family gatherings to the point that mom's just like, not the knife show again. Really? We're going to sit around watching the knife show.
I don't get it either because I'll be sitting there. I'm like, this is a joke. This is a goof. They're going to turn on for a few seconds. Everyone's going to be like, oh, come on. And then we're going to move on. But no, you all love that thing.
It's fascinating because they make the lots bigger and bigger. So they'll be like, we'll sell you these knives, but wait, there's more. And then they add more knives. But wait, there's more. And the answer is always more knives. Yeah. But then at some point,
right now, 5 more knives.
At some point, they're like, wait, there's more. Katana. That's an amazing moment.
I need to know, how many times have each of you ordered from the knife show? Or have you ever?
Never. We've never.
Never.
So what's the point?
I just want to see where it's going.
And they have names for all of them because of their handles.
It seems like it's going towards more knives. Like if you see where it's going, it seems like it's just going towards more and more knives.
Yeah.
Now, aside from infomercials, because I know we could do an entire episode on the knife show, but let's not.
Bonus episode.
That's going to be an additional
2017
podcast.
knife show.
Do you ever do that kind of like late night TV roulette though, Rileigh? Like, because that was hard part of the fun back in the day, was just flipping through the channels and stopping and going, what? That's how we found this stuff, was like, what is this? How could that? What are we watching? And then we're watching something bizarre that we never would have found if it weren't for the fact that our choices were limited. We only had so many channels. We didn't have Netflix. We didn't have Hulu. We didn't have, Amazon. We didn't have CISO. We didn't have that kind of thing. So
There are several times where like I will find myself with no internet for one reason or another. Like the internet will be out or it'll be very slow and nothing is working. So I'll kind of flip around TV, see what's on. Most of the time I think Nick at Night is what it is now. I don't know if it's still called Nick at Night, but like the now version of Nick at Night. Like It's on Nickelodeon, but it is at like 1 a.m.
yeah.
There's a lot of old Zoe 101s and Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide and Drake and Josh.
That's
Watch a
really
lot of
interesting.
Those
I
are
do the
shows that
shows
were-
that like I grew up watching. So I will watch those shows a lot because those were my shows when I was in like middle school and elementary school. But there'll be some times where I'll just be scrolling through and I'll be like, an 2-hour long show called Do I Poop Enough? Like, well, gotta see what this is about. Turn that on. And I'll be scrolling through more and see 2 channels back to back. One that's like Dr. D Alaska Vet and one that's like Dr. So-and-so, like, I don't know, Canada Vet or something. I'm like, I gotta see the difference. I gotta see what's going on.
See, I have to say, because, when you had that, like, well, this is all there is. We just have to go with whatever is best. Then, like, if you watch something that's really brainless, it's like, that was my only choice. Now that we have everything available to us, I feel the need to, like, be responsible with the things I'm watching. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm on Netflix, it's like, oh, maybe I just want to watch, like, endless episodes of Dance Moms, but I should really watch this documentary. That's a good thing to do with my brain.
That is true. That you do feel a little more judged now that like you open it up and like hear all these new movies, like Oscar-winning movies and like great TV series that you really should have watched, and documentaries that would make you smarter, and you're like, Toddlers and Tiaras, it's on.
right when everyone was watching Stranger Things and I hadn't started yet. So instead I went back and rewatched all of Glee before I started watching Stranger Things.
All of it?
All of it. I just got my wisdom teeth taken out, Sydney.
Yeah, that's a lot of time for TV.
I'm not going to judge. I watched Glee.
I know you do.
I know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I just wish there was some way you could like tailor your, recommended for you things so that when you're watching Netflix with somebody else and you open it up, that's way too personal for anyone to just get to see. It came up the other day and like the third movie down was Crosswords with Britney Spears. I'm like, oh God, no one can know.
That is true, and that's been fun sharing Netflix with Mom and Dad and Rileigh.
I was just about to say the same thing because we have the same account, and sometimes Mom and Dad will actually click on Justin's account instead of ours that we use at home, and it's like recently watched, and then it's a lot of like Pee-wee's Playhouse, but then like My 600-Pound Life. And then like
I don't want to talk about it.
And then like old Spider-Man episodes like that I know Charlie doesn't like because I've watched it with her before and she's not interested. So someone here is watching those, not with a baby.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, I want to talk more about other things we do late at night other than television. But before I do that,
Let's check out the group message.
so what you got over there this week, Rileigh?
We have one Jumbotron this week from a very special person to another very special person. I don't know if they're very special. I just like making everyone feel
They
special.
are.
Hey, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. I just like making everyone feel special.
They listen to our show, so we know they're very special.
It's true. It is for Ali Sturkin, and it is from KJ. And KJ says, I'm so happy you're getting married. Thanks for letting me be part of your special day.
Oh,
So nice.
well, congratulations, Allie.
Congrats.
Have a wonderful wedding.
Yeah. And thanks for letting KJ be part of it from us.
KJ really appreciates it.
And so do we.
We know because we have this message that says so. But congratulations. Have a wonderful marriage as well. Because like the wedding's just the one day.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
marriage
the
is,
rest
like,
of it's got to.
All of the rest.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Thank you, Sydney, for educating us on how marriage works. I thought you just got married one day and then after that you were done.
Oh no.
It
Let me
just
fill you
keeps
in.
going.
10 years later, here I am still married.
Does the cake continue?
No, you're supposed to save it for a year, but that's only if your dad doesn't
Drop
smash
it all
it
over himself.
on himself on the front porch trying to make it in the night after your wedding.
I still remember that. I'm walking up the stairs so tired. I've always been tired my whole life. Just so tired. Turn around, I hear, oh no! And I turn around, Dad just at the front door. Cake all over the ground, cake all over himself.
He
cake all
smashed
over the porch.
the rest of that cake all over himself.
Oh, that was a
Sad.
funny memory.
That's okay.
But that saved you from eating your old cake. So it's really a good thing.
Because
That's
there would have
fair.
been some point 6 years later, you would have looked in and cake's still in there.
So, Allie, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't eat that old cake.
Don't eat the cake a year later. Just eat it on your wedding day.
And get a new cake.
Get another cake.
Get a
You-
cake
you're
every,
gonna be
every
married.
year.
Get cake as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
On your, I was going to say that's your anniversary. Every year on your wedding day, that's your anniversary.
That's what that's called,
That's
Rileigh.
what that is.
So late at night, now I'm assuming you're not, like you said, you're not just randomly flipping through channels. You're watching like marathoning shows.
Yes, binging, if you will.
Now, I have a question. Is the need to watch shows like every episode in order, is that more and more pervasive among people your age? Because
Yeah.
Justin and I have always joked that that is a big distinction between him and I, is that I do not care if I've seen an episode of a show ever before. I will jump in right in the middle, watch some, never see the end. It doesn't bother me.
Nope.
Justin can't, and he's never been able to do that. And I don't know if that's like a family difference, like his family watched shows from beginning to end, and our family was always just kind of spotty, whatever was on. Or is that a generational shift now where all your friends do the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, like, I could see if you didn't have all the episodes, you just finally come to terms with, like, yeah, this is as good as it's going to get, as far as I'm going to get. But then if you have them all right there, then it's like, I just got to keep going.
So streaming services are just spoiling you.
Yeah. And, like, even not even just streaming services, like DVR and on demand. Like, I see an episode on TV of a show that I know has been on for a while. It's just like, man, I wonder what the episode right after that is. That was really interesting. And you go on demand, it's right there all the time. Just watch it whenever.
I will say that does spoil you. I mean, like even me, because Charlie recently got really into a cartoon called Elena of Avalor.
And you love that.
And I do, and there are only 8 episodes so far.
So you've watched the same 8 in a row?
Over and over. I've seen them. I could tell you. Do you want me to tell you the whole plot?
No,
Okay. Are you sure?
I don't know.
The music is great. I know all the words to that too. I could sing it for you. I have a dance choreographed to it that Charlie and I do together.
There'll be some times where we'll be sitting there and we'll all just be like, on our phones, whatever, talking, and I'll hear Sydney going, I'm like, are you singing Elena of Avalor?
Yeah. It's a great show.
Wow.
Tell you like it.
The world knows that now. All right, Sid.
Sorry about that. I'm not, you know what? Not sorry. It's wonderful. It's an amazing cartoon. It's a beautiful magical land. She's a very strong princess, and her younger sister is a wonderful role model for young girls.
Now you know how it feels to be attacked by your sister, Sydney. We've been talking a lot about TV. I
Yeah.
feel like there are other things that teens do late at night.
Yes, that is fair. Other things that I did late at night. So once I could drive, it was driving.
Game
Taco
changer.
Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Huh.
game changer.
Yeah, driving was a big deal because mainly Taylor and I, we've mentioned this before, we would just kind of cruise around listening to music because we didn't have to be home right away. And usually Mom and Dad didn't have very strict rules for us as long as it was just the two of us.
Yeah, no. We never caused problems, so they never had to make rules.
No, I remember the Walmart being open 24/7 was kind of a big deal.
Oh, that was a huge deal. I would go there with my friends too. We would go and we would this is now in retrospect, it's maybe sad. We would buy Walmart has those cheesecakes that have 4 different flavors.
Uh-huh.
And I had 3 friends, so there were 4 of us. So we would go and get the 4-way cheesecake and just sit in the parking lot eating the whole cheesecake.
Do you remember that was how you and I invented crack cake?
Oh, wait. That was a recipe we got, though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could do it any way you wanted.
Yeah, that's right. We used a full multi-flavored cheesecake.
You buy a cheesecake. Well, you buy a cake.
That's a cheesecake.
Is it a cheesecake
Pre-made
only?
cheesecake,
Okay.
yeah.
You buy a cheesecake and then you buy some ice cream. Mm-hmm. And then you mix it all together in a bowl. And then you put it back into a springform cake pan so that it becomes a cake again in the freezer.
Now I have some issues with this. When
This was before alcohol too, Riley. This was just
Okay.
what we were doing.
Yeah.
when you combine ice cream with something, and don't just like put a layer in it like ice cream cake. When you combine it and you put it in a pan, you can no longer call that a cake. That is ice cream with cake in it. Like that is now ice cream that has bits of cheesecake in it.
or is it cake with ice cream in it?
I think the consistency that resulted was a beautiful fusion between ice cream and cheesecake. But I think because of the shape, it still falters on the cheesecake cake side.
But you can make ice cream any shape you want. Like what are you talking
But
about?
it wouldn't like melt. It wouldn't like melt and lose its form once it was
No.
out of the fridge.
Okay, so if I
Yeah.
take
You
cheesecake,
take the cake form off.
if
and
I
it's just a
take
cake of-
cheesecake and scoop out the insides and put it into an ice cream cone, is that ice cream?
No, that's ridiculous. Why would you suggest that? That's not at all how science
What?
works.
These are the things you figure out late at night, though. You can't do that until after midnight, and then you go, if I took cheesecake,
Yep.
what other forms could I consume cheesecake in?
Here's the thing. I
Let
have
me
a
think
thought.
about it. So food experimentation was a big thing late at night. I remember the first time I made like Jell-O. Remember that surprise Jell-O? You didn't know what flavor it was going to be because it was like clear with sparkles.
Oh yeah.
Is that edible?
Yeah, and I made that late at night with a friend. That was the first time watching a documentary about Burning Man. That was when I first learned about Burning Man. I remember making the Jell-O, watching Burning Man, and thinking I'm going to go to that someday.
I will say, my friends and I did used to do that. I'm thinking about it now. Before I was a teenager, I was maybe like 5th grade, so like 11 or 12, and I had a birthday party sleepover, and Taylor was in town. Was that the year that you came in town for my birthday? Like, as a surprise?
I
maybe?
did do that one year. Maybe it was that year.
But either way, my friends and I were all very bored because we were all like, this was before, Netflix and such. And we were all kind of sitting around talking. And Taylor was there. We were like, would Taylor eat this if we combine this and this and this? And we ended up giving Taylor various strange combinations of Taco Bell foods and a birthday cake.
And Taylor had been drinking, so
Taylor ate them.
she ate all of it with pretty much a nod. I'm like, yeah, okay.
There was another night where we ended up cutting out. We printed out pictures of bacon from the internet and cut them out and put them all over each other.
No, actually, that was
Recently?
that is a true story, but I was not party to that. That was you and maybe some of your friends.
Oh yeah,
And you just covered me in paper bacon because I woke up covered
Paper
in paper
bacon.
bacon. That is a very strange thing to wake up to.
yeah, that was a very strange thing too.
I wish I
So,
could trace that
arts
thought
and crafts.
process. Yes.
So crafts. I do crafts at night. My friends and I actually will do that too. Like, because when it's like daytime or like evening and it's light outside or whatever, I guess we're doing like, if it's warm, we'll like be outside or like be in the pool or doing other things. And then when it's dark, like late, we're like, you know what, let's break out the crafts. We break out the crafts. We do the crafts.
And of course, like late night is also when you like. I mean, we've talked about it at summer parties before, but when you did things like Truth or Dare or
Yeah.
prank calls. Well, not really
Yeah.
prank calls, more like
We've done prank calls recently.
yeah.
I've done prank calls recently.
Yeah. So last night, late at night. So this was late night activities that you all
this was
engaged in.
Saturday night stayed up till 5:30 and Sunday night stayed up until 12:45.
So last night, after we finished a rousing game of D&D with our parents,
Like family is so cool.
like you do, we had gone to the flea market yesterday, and a very nice lady there insisted on giving Charlie.
Was she nice?
I don't know. Insisted on giving Charlie a lovely doll
Now, when we say insisted, Charlie was just standing there looking through things like she does when she's a baby. Like she looks at things and grabs things. She was standing there looking at the dolls, and the lady picked the one up, and was like, "You want this one? You can have it. Don't pay me for it. No. Don't pay me for it. Just take it."
And Mom kept trying to give her money for it, and then we were trying to buy other things, and she was like, "No, just take this doll."
Which you know what that means.
It's haunted. You got a haunted doll.
I know.
It is creepy looking too.
Yeah, it looks haunted. Like
It's
if
like
I
a
had
porcelain
to pick a doll to
doll.
look haunted.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. It's very pretty, and Charlie did like it because it has blonde hair and blue eyes like she does. And she did like that, and it has a purple dress like Princess Sophia.
Dead blue eyes.
But it does
Dead
stare
blue
at
eyes.
you very deeply.
Yes.
It does stare right through you, which is scary. So I did obviously the only natural thing that you would do with a doll like this, and I put it in Rileigh's bed.
Yep. I was very stressed out last night. I had an online quiz that was due at midnight. That's timed, so it takes you 20 minutes, and we didn't leave here until like 11:35. I was like, well, I got 20 minutes to do this quiz, and it's due in 25, so let's hope this works. So I was doing it, and I'm like in a rush, like putting on my pajamas, sitting down in bed, and I sit on something hard. I'm like, what is in my bed? And I like reach behind me and pull on it, and it's the doll, and I'm like, okay, well, this is good. Good. Who did this? I run out to the living room. I'm like, Mom, Taylor, I don't know who did this. I don't care who did it. Just don't do it again. I don't have time for this right now. And I threw the doll down and walked out.
So the result of that was that I get a call at midnight from a block number with a very scary voice telling
Taylor,
me that I'm waiting for you outside.
Taylor, could you do the voice really fast?
It's kind of like a I'm outside.
Yep, that was it. Yeah, it had a bit of a Babadook feel.
A little bit.
Sounded kind of like a little
Babadook
girl.
with vocal fry.
It's a female vocal fry Babadook.
Was waiting on the front porch for me, and I didn't want to go. I knew what was happening. I mean, I'm not stupid. Like I knew they've left the stupid doll on the front porch.
Which, I got a yelling from the living room. I was sitting there finishing my quiz, and Mom's like, Rileigh, we're going to go run this doll down to Sydnee's real quick. Be back, bye. I'm like, wait, what? You're running a doll? Wait, what?
So then I come look on my front porch, and then just standing on the front porch staring up at me is the doll.
Princess Sophia.
Not only did I leave it on the front porch and refuse to go outside or bring it in, I double checked that all the doors were locked, and then we set the alarm.
Oh, yeah, so you weren't scared at all.
I was totally freaked out. If the doll tried to open the door, now we would know because the alarm would go off. It was still standing on the front porch this morning, and I took Charlie out, and she went, Princess Sophia.
I considered this morning, I always drive by Sydnee's house on my way to school, which would have been before you all would have been leaving your house. I considered stopping by and just grabbing it and taking it. So it would be gone in the morning, and you'd be like, what?
Or move it to the bedroom window.
Yeah.
That would have scared the crap out of me if it was gone, because then I would just have to wonder, where is it?
Oh, man, I wish I would have done that. I was so close.
Where did it go?
I mean,
in your house.
I just love that, that was Mom's idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that doesn't surprise me, though.
But back to the late night prank calls. Those are actually something I've done recently with friends, and I knew sounds like a thing that you do when you're like a little girl, like at slumber parties, and I've done that pretty recently.
You're just a little girl at slumber parties.
Not a little girl.
You're just my little baby Rileigh.
I'm not a little girl, Sydney. I'm like a teenager.
I always think of you as a little baby.
I'm like a young
I don't
woman.
mean that in a mean way. I don't mean to demean you by calling you a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a young woman.
The only little
But
girl
you're a
I know
baby in
is your
my
2-year-old.
Who calls you baby sis?
I don't
That's
even think of myself as a young woman. That's weird for me to think of you as one.
Now, Taylor.
Aware that I am, and I'm not a young woman. I'm just a woman. That's
woman.
weird. That's
woman.
Let's move on.
You
Let's
own
move
it.
on.
I think of myself as a mom mainly these days, guys. At night, one fun activity that Taylor and I engaged in once late at night, all for Mom.
She disagree.
Mom would disagree with this. We started a tradition one year. We realized it was very late, and the next day was Mother's Day, and
Oops.
we were unprepared.
Very unprepared.
But I could drive, Now, in retrospect, why did we not go to the Walmart that
I was
was
gonna
open
say, like, who could
24/7?
just go get a thing?
No. I believe that was the original plan, and there weren't any good ones there.
We went looking for flowers
Yeah.
for Mom.
But I think like 2:00 in the morning, the night before Mother's Day at Walmart, it was bereft.
So we thought, well, there are flowers outside.
Flowers everywhere for free. People just put them out there for you to take in their front lawns.
Why not gather some? I regret this. We were young.
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
We were young and stupid. We did put together a very beautiful bouquet.
And we didn't take too much from any one place.
No, we would just like clip one off. Like we had scissors.
Yeah. And that we would go around to all like the nice neighborhoods and steal flowers from their front lawns. It was like she was getting the bouquet from all of Huntington.
That was actually what we wrote on the card.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom, from Sydnee, Teylor, and all of Huntington. I regret that now. I would not steal flowers from people now. Please don't do this.
funny.
Please don't make our mistakes.
I've had that same experience for Mother's Day again. I don't know why we're so bad at remembering Mother's Day, but it was very late night. Mother's Day was the next day, and I couldn't drive because this was 2 years ago, maybe. I was like 13, so I couldn't drive, and I was like, well, you know what? Mom really enjoys those lilacs out front. I'm not going to cut them out of the front because I'm not going to ruin her perfectly good lilac bushes. So I had some very nice pictures of them that she had told me she liked and wanted framed. So I printed them out on my photo paper. It was very nice photo paper. And I made little watercolor frames for them by hand. And I printed them out, put the frames together, and made her a card by hand. Again, because I couldn't drive, so I made everything and gave it to her the next day. And it wasn't good enough.
I think
What?
Mom enjoyed it immensely. I think that it was... I think you're projecting.
And you did all that for her without having any like minor misdemeanor possible charges.
Yeah, none of that was illegal.
I remember sitting up late trying to finish like gifts and presents. Like specifically, that was why I tried to stop. I used to crochet and knit, and I don't do that for presents anymore because it inevitably always ended with me like the night before Christmas or whatever, just sitting up all night frantically trying to finish this thing. Like, why did I think this would be a good present idea? Like, I am such a procrastinator. This was never a good plan. But it was it used to be very soothing to do late at night. It was not at those times.
Yeah. I've done that before, except like with school projects, which I guess is another thing I do late at night is schoolwork. Pretty much every night, like I'll have a project due. I'm like, this is due in 2.5 weeks. I'm going to put together something really nice. I'm going to decide to do like the harder option instead of like the easier thing. Like instead of just doing a PowerPoint, I'll do like a poster and a PowerPoint. Or like instead of just doing a poster, I'll do a board game with cards and trivia questions and points and pieces. Always the night before, always up until 3 or 4 in the morning.
So, Rileigh, I want to know though, like, how do you find, because we've talked about like the differences in kind of not having as many options in like your media intake and like choices and stuff when we were younger. I mean, when Teylor and I were much younger, like there was nowhere to go late at night. Stores weren't open. Restaurants weren't open. You know, there was no all-night Taco Bell. Can you imagine that?
I can't.
There was a dead hour at night between when Taco Bell closed and McDonald's opened for breakfast, where there was no food available.
Well, now they're both open 24 hours.
I know this predates that, and then TV choices were limited. You know, which like our parents would tell us, like, I mean, you know, back in their day, you know, TV channels used to turn off.
Mm. I've heard Mom and Dad talk about that before, which is awful and terrifying and scarier than most scary movies. And
we did. I mean, eventually internet came along. So like there was the late night option of chat rooms and instant messenger.
Which was big for me. That's what I did on my role playing. Not the creepy kind, the nerdy kind.
And that kind of stuff came. But before all that, our choices were limited. So that forced us to experience things maybe we wouldn't have otherwise. Now with all the choices, how do you find something like you've mentioned watching all of Friends, which is not of your time or your generation? How does that happen?
Friends was actually because Mom made me start watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I was homesick from school one day, and she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna make you start watching Friends." And I was like, "Oh, Mom, come on! I don't want to watch it. I bet it's not gonna be any good." She was like, "No, just watch one episode. It's like a half an hour episode. So just watch it. Just watch one episode. If you don't like it, we don't have to watch it." And I watched one episode, and that was when I started
And you were hooked.
the 3-week-long binge of all 10 seasons of Friends.
Have you gone back to try to find other old shows that or
Yeah.
old movies or just, things that aren't like currently popular?
I mean, like, Clueless is on Netflix, and I love that movie again because it was either you all or Mom that told me to watch it. May have been Mom. But she told me to watch it, and now it's on Netflix, so I just watch it, like, all the time. Mean Girls is one of my all-time favorite movies that is on Netflix. I watch that all the time. There will be TV shows that, like, finished, like, they were on in my time, but, like, on when I would have been too young to watch them, kind of. Like, they were teen TV shows before I was a teen, and they'll be finished now because they're off the air, and I'll go back and watch those, like, Vampire Diaries, stuff like Grey's Anatomy, stuff like that.
It's interesting because it's almost as if, you're going to be able to be exposed to like a much broader range of culture than, I mean, for us, it would have been mainly like what our family or friends suggested or exposed us to other than what was currently popular. Because I remember like I got into Dawson's Creek after it had started, after it was big and popular, but only because our cousin Joe had all of Dawson's Creek recorded on VHS tapes, and he brought me a giant container full of all of Dawson's Creek on VHS. And I would sit there and pop in one tape after another and binge on a VHS of Dawson's Creek. But that was the only way I was exposed to it, was because, of a family member.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm exposed to a lot more stuff, I guess, because, I mean, I think about it, and it's like there's so many different things on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and YouTube, and, I mean, like, if I was just going off of TV channels to watch, when I was younger, I would have, like, 4 channels that I would fluctuate between, which was usually, like, TLC, because it had, like, Toddlers in Tears, and Say Yes to the Dress, and,
That's the Learning Channel for those of you following along at home. The Learning Channel.
that's what that stands for?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did not know what
Higher
that stood for,
educational
and
programming.
I would not have guessed that based on what kind of shows they air. Or like the baking channel, where they have like Cupcake Wars and Cake Boss and stuff, or like Teen Nick and Regular Nick and Disney. But I mean, now there are like documentaries on Netflix that I'll watch, and old movies and scary movies and TV shows and all sorts of stuff.
Now, you mentioned scary movies, and I think this is a good lead into this season.
The spooky season.
The spooky season. It's October, which, I mean, it's basically
Hey
Halloween.
Sydney, do you know what today is? Taylor, do you know what today is?
The second? Is it the
No,
second?
it's the third.
It's the 3rd of
It's October
October.
3rd. Do you not know what that means?
Yes, that's from Mean Girls.
It's Mean Girls
I've
Day.
seen the meme all over the internets.
She's talking about how after Aaron breaks up with Regina and how he hadn't asked her to be his girlfriend yet, but they had small interactions in between. She's like, on October 3rd, he asked me what day it was, and then he turns around and says, "What day is it?" She says, "It's October 3rd.
Oh.
So it's
yeah.
Mean Girls Day because it's October 3rd.
But October is all essentially Halloween in my mind,
Yes.
right?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, and then October is basically Halloween. Halloween is basically Thanksgiving, and then Merry Christmas. It's Christmas.
Okay, no, let's
Merry
not rush
Christmas,
it.
guys.
It's Christmas now?
No,
Merry
it's
Christmas.
not. It's Halloween, and that was one late night rule that was pretty hard and fast for me. Scary stuff cut off for the late night. There
Yep.
was no scary stuff for me late night. Late night was when I would watch silly
Happy
things,
things.
funny things,
Yes.
happy things, read funny books, no scary books, no scary any influences at all at night.
Yes.
That was a hard cutoff, unless I wanted to spend the entire night with all of the lights on, the TV and my music on, just like sitting there staring at the door.
See, I am definitely the opposite. That's like, even now, that's what, if I have an off night, like pick out a couple good scary movies. I will not sleep. I will definitely stay up all night. Luckily, as a bartender, I'm basically nocturnal anyway, so it works out.
So that's okay for you.
You're just like, watch movies late enough until, you're either tired enough to fall asleep or the sun comes up and you're not afraid anymore.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, see, when I'm going to watch a scary movie, it's usually like on a weekend where I can watch it early in the day and then have lots of time to do like happy stuff afterwards.
Yep. I always try to leave myself enough time to where if I'm going to watch a scary movie when it's dark outside, because usually my cutoff is being dark.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I have enough time to watch a scary movie when it's dark outside, I'll always make sure I have enough time after to watch at least a few episodes of Friends or New Girl or Clueless
Exactly.
again.
I
Exactly.
was gonna ask what your go-to, like, when I'm scared. What do I put on to not be scared?
Friends.
Okay, all right. I go Bob's Burger. Like,
No, that's a
You
good
know.
one too.
Parks and Rec.
all right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Office.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch The Office again sometimes.
Or hey, I'm rewatching all of Ally McBeal.
Yeah, the other day we were looking for a really good scary movie to watch all together as a family, and Sydney weren't even there. But Mom goes, Ally McBeal, Taylor, do you like Ally McBeal? Riley, let's watch Ally McBeal. We're like, wait, we're watching a scary movie.
Well, and that I think we were under your Netflix picks.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even a scary movie column available because you know
No.
how like it shows based because you
Yeah.
watch this because you watch this. You're not even have
And
that.
then you go to
I
mine,
know.
and it's like, because you watched Scream the TV series, because you watched Would You Rather, because you watched Hush, like all of these scary sections.
We get very much into it in the season, so it will happen now. It will evolve.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
Netflix
is.
learns about you,
It's time to be spooky.
studies your movements. Well, sisters, we all need to get more sleep now.
Yeah,
The
this weekend
is
I got a
over.
total of like 9 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted.
Taylor does not need sleep.
No, I say I've gotten more sleep this weekend at more accurate hours than I will ever. I guess.
I jump back into the work week tomorrow, so I'll get back to sleep at night, and we'll stop staying up all night watching television shows and making Jello and
Playing D&D,
playing D&D.
which I guess is the thing we do now late at night.
I know. Whoever was like, "Oh, it's 8:00. We can play for 2 hours." I was like, "Ha ha ha! No one plays D&D for only 2 hours."
Well,
We're still new to this.
We started like 7:45. I looked down at the clock because we were nearing the end of a section. I was like, it can't be that late. By like 10 o'clock. No, 11:45.
Thank you, sisters, for joining me again this week and
You're
staying up
welcome.
late with me this weekend. Thank you, listeners, for listening to our show. Thank you, everybody who came to Candle Nights and was nice
Yeah.
enough to come and say hi, or just to see the show, or to tweet at us or Facebook us or bring us presents.
Yeah.
We have a comprehensive list of all of you nice people that is not in front of us at the moment.
Nope. No one remembered it. Great job, sisters.
Oops.
But we'll be right on that next time.
Yes.
But thank you all. Candle Nights was wonderful and beautiful, and it was so nice to meet some of you, and it was so nice of you to come, and some of you traveled great distances.
Like the
Yeah.
people who came from Australia. That's crazy.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you to everybody on our Facebook group. You can come join our group. Still Buffering is the name of it, because that's the name of our podcast. And
Thank you for telling everyone what the name of our podcast is, Sydney. I think they needed to know.
in case you've forgotten,
Been still buffering.
you can tweet at us. That's what I was going to tell you. You can tweet at us at stillbuff. Please feel free to email us at stillbuffering@maximumfun.org if you have thoughts or suggestions or comments. If you would like a Jumbotron, you can go to maximumfun.org/Jumbotron, and we will send you happy messages on our show, or your loved ones. If you like our show, you may want to check out MaximumFun.org for a lot of other great shows, a lot of other great podcasts that you can find there. And thank you to the Novellas for our theme song, Baby You Change Your Mind.
This has been Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Rileigh Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
I am a teenager.
And I was too. Oh, it's so much easier to do that when we're in the same room. That'll never happen.
The great questions of your life.
Great questions of your life.
Should you put ketchup on a hot dog?
Put ketchup on a hot dog.
Toilet paper over or under?
Toilet paper.
Star Wars or Star
Wars
Trek?
Or Star Trek.
Fear not, my friends.
Fear not,
Mark
my
and
friends.
Hal always reach the definitive answer. Simply listen to We Got This with Mark and Hal every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific on Maximum Fun. We got this. Your better self is right around the corner. Namaste.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.